Yo, yo, yo. What up, peoples? Happy flipping Thursday. Hope everybody had a great day yesterday while we were not live. We got the news for today, September 21st, and then we've got a showcase to watch from Capcom. They've already kind of announced some of what we'll see there. Big hype for some Dragon's Dogma 2 for me. But the Tokyo Game Show is kind of kicking off, and Capcom's got a showcase that is going to be happening from the Tokyo Game Show. So it is supposed to be happening at roughly 9 o'clock a.m. CST for us, which is not too long after we normally finish up the news segment. So we'll probably just kind of do the news and then run our way into the Tokyo Game Show presentation from Capcom. Then we will play day 2, of our beta access of the First Descendant. Cool, that's kind of what we got popping off today. So let's get this new stuff rolling. Let me get my times changed up here. That should work. There we go. Cool. Let's go. Let's do this. Yeah. We'll just leave the music popping while we find our articles. Whenever I start diving into the articles, we'll turn the music off. All right. Yeah. So some Microsoft Xbox leak. We've already touched on some of that. Depending on what you're referencing, Pinky. We touched on some of the there's been some more documentation that has come out from the documents that were leaked regarding the acquisition of Activision Blizzard by Microsoft. And it has to do, a lot of what we covered on Tuesday had to do with some more of their PC cloud gaming stuff. It had to do with their new consoles coming, new controllers, stuff like that. Yo, dude, I'm gonna probably butcher your name. Can I call you Mick? Is it Mikal? Yeah, dude. How do I say your name? Yo, what's up? Good morning. I'm sorry. Michaela. Holy crap, dude. Michaela Reed. Yo, what up, dude? I'm so sorry. Yo, it's all smashed together, dude. I read it totally wrong. I'm so sorry. Sorry, Michaela. Yo, what's up, Michaela? Good morning. Yeah, Pinky, it depends on what you're talking about, dude. Right. Yeah, there's been a lot of different stuff that's been coming out. That's what they're shooting for. I think that they should also go for some kind of handheld, to be fair. I think a handheld fits their portfolio pretty well, but yeah. You know, Michaela, I'm really sorry. Yeah, I haven't had enough coffee. It's very early for me. I'm going to blame it on that. It's really just because I'm a 3-head, but, you know. Oh, man. Good, Michaela. Word up. Love to hear it. Yeah. That works too. Yo, Pinky, cool, man. Yeah. Yo, I've got that Terraria tweet up too, buddy. Thanks, man. Yeah, we'll cover that this morning also, man. Yeah. How are you, man? What's up? What's new, brother? But yeah, we covered a lot of that on Tuesday, and we'll see what happens. I mean, to be fair, let's be fair here. If we're gonna start off talking about that, they have a tentative timeline for their next console or whatever to be. So basically, what it would be like a small form factor kind of hardware setup that would be minimally priced, like probably around $100 or something, right? But it'd be all like cloud-based computing kind of setup to be able to stream your games off of and everything. Is what basically Xbox is talking about doing, right? in large part anyways. But they're talking about this next evolution in their gaming hardware not really taking place until 2028. That's like 5 years from now, right? You're just working, buddy. Yeah. It's like 5 years from now, man. And a lot can change in half a decade. You know what I mean? Dude, to be fair, I mean, I've been talking about for a while now that Xbox doesn't... I don't feel like Xbox needs to be doing the traditional console thing anymore. It doesn't fit their portfolio very well, you know? I feel like they've been playing a losing game in that realm anyways, fighting against Nintendo and PlayStation. And their portfolio of services fits something else better anyways. So I think they will pivot away from a traditional console. But what exactly that will be, you know, time will tell. A lot can change in half a decade. You know what I mean? But yeah, there was a lot of leaks that came out, dude, for sure. And we touched on a good amount of it on Tuesday. Thanks for making sure we had touched on it, dude. I appreciate it. Oh, man. So, yeah, I mean, here's the big deal with Liberty City for me. Liberty City, I really just want to see how it performs for people, you know? Yo, well, nice, dude. That's how to play that game, right? You use something that, while might not be totally within the rules of the workplace, you use something that's intriguing enough that your management buys in and goes, "Oh, that's pretty dope. What are those? Where can I get those? Those are cool." so now it's all good. You know what I mean? That's a pretty slick move there, bro. Yeah, I like it. That's five head, dude. That's funny, man. So the Liberty City stuff, you know, we already had some of the lead developers from CDPR on the Liberty City come out and basically tell people they need to be sure that their cooling systems and their PCs are up to snuff, which is a little bit concerning for me, you know, considering what Cyberpunk was on release anyways. To then have them come out and be like, "Oh, yo, hey, you might want to make sure that your cooling system in your PC's very, very good, you know, before you play this game." I'm sorry, but it leaves me a little bit concerned about what that means for how intense this DLC is gonna be on people's rigs. You know what I mean? The amount of stress that it's gonna be putting out there, and we'll see what happens. Oh, Phantom Liberty. My bad. Phantom Liberty. Yeah. Sorry, Davey. Thanks, man. Thanks for correcting me. Not enough copy, dude. Again. Phantom Liberty. Yeah, dude. Yep. That's the one. That one. What's up, Davey? See, that's why I gotta have you guys, man. All right, let's see what else we got here. We've already got something up from Pinky here. I've got a couple of articles up on YouTube right now. Look, man, I'm not gonna Tales of Arise. Yeah, bro, you still slamming that out, dude. I got a couple of our articles that we covered in the news over the past week up on YouTube last night. And so, look, the Unity stuff is going to be nonstop. We're going to be talking about that for a long time. I'll just link a couple of like, here's the initial reaction we had, as well as like a breakdown of the Unity stuff as well. Another I think it was the following day we kind of dove back into this a little bit. So if anybody wants to see kind of how we've addressed it here in the community and stuff, those are some of the links to the YouTube VODs from where we've taken a dive into the Unity stuff. my own kind of take on this, and which basically comes down to the fact that I think Unity is irreparably damaged. I don't think that they're going to be able to work their way out of this. If they do, it definitely won't be anytime soon. You know, that's basically what this comes down to. We've talked about it a lot. There's a couple of nice, decently, I don't know, those things are like 15 to 18 minute long videos there where we talk about that stuff if you're interested in what we came across whenever all this Unity stuff went down originally. But we'll talk about some more of this as Relogic has come out with their own statement regarding the situation, as many developers have, and rightfully so. So we'll take a look. Yeah, some of the other big stuff coming out of the Microsoft situation that I've seen has been like, Microsoft was really, I guess, really trying to push to buy Nintendo. I mean, what's the I don't think I ever would have seen Nintendo buy into that. Personally. Apparently Phil Spencer was very adamant about trying to get that done at one point. And I think around, yo Cappy, what's up, friendo? Around the turn of the like around 2020, turn of the decade, I think that Phil Spencer was really trying to like get Microsoft to buy Nintendo, dude. And I mean, while it would have been a great play, bro, if you think about the absolute chaos that has evolved from a result of them trying to acquire Activision Blizzard, which is going to take place. Dude, I don't think regulatory committees would have let it happen. I don't think regulatory committees around the world would have let Microsoft buy Nintendo, first of all. Also, what would that cost? Could you imagine what it would cost to buy Nintendo? It would have to be more than Activision Blizzard, right? I mean, if Activision Blizzard is worth $70 billion, Nintendo would have to be worth well more than that, right? I mean, I would assume. That's kind of wild, man. Bro, we came across an article the other day, and this is kind of wild to me too. I actually tagged our buddy Ferret because we meme on Apple stuff every once in a while. And look, I mean, I'm not gonna down anybody for enjoying Apple products, whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Whatever you enjoy tech wise, you do what you do. That's fine, whatever. You know what I mean? Just like I'm not a big fan of console stuff anymore because I feel like that side of the gaming industry has gotten real scummy. I'm not gonna bag on anybody for enjoying whatever side of gaming they're getting into, because gaming's about having fun, right? But I am gonna call out companies for doing scummy stuff, and it's kind of the same thing with Apple. The stuff you sent me, no, I don't have that pulled up yet, but we will. Yeah, thank you. Yep. So yeah, we've got a little bit of some dark and darker stuff here. Just about a potential mobile port. Yeah, thanks, Cappy. Appreciate it. Yeah. From our buddy Cappy, so we'll address that too. But the Apple stuff is like, for what you get out of their products, it's like, yeah, it seems to me, and I've been a tech guy for a long time, you pay way more than what you're actually getting out of that product. You're paying way more for that name than what you're actually getting hardware-wise. And that's just my opinion. So it's weird for me to see people constantly buying into brands like that feel like they're not getting their money's worth. That's what gets me. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, Cappy, for sure. Yeah. Well, yeah, Davey, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I mean, people are free to purchase whatever they want, but I'm always going to put out my own, viewpoint on where I feel like companies are getting the better of people, because this is the problem, dude. People have bought into a brand. They've bought into a brand. They've gotten locked into a certain product or a whether it be like Nintendo or Xbox or PlayStation or Apple or whatever, you know what I mean? They've gotten locked in there, and they feel like it's too hard to get out of, and that's what these companies do to people, right? They make it feel like, oh, well, I've already got this library set up, so I can't move away, or I've already got all these other Apple products, and they only work well with other Apple products, so I can't move away from it. And that's what these companies do, though, right? So look, I'm not going to dog on anybody for, buying into whatever they enjoy. I mean, it's their money. You spend it the way you want. But I'm also going to always call out these companies for doing what I feel is scummy and, not good to us as the consumer and the gaming / tech enthusiast. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I mean, people absolutely should have the freedom to purchase whatever they like. But on the flip side of that, it also sucks to see people getting scammed all the time by being locked into a certain platform or brand. You know what I mean? And then these platforms and brands continue to just keep doing, scummier and scummier and scummier things to people because they know they have them locked into that brand. Like one of the latest instances, dude, I'll give you of my own perception of this happening. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know you didn't say you disagreed. I was just getting into why I was like talking about that in general. Never understood why it was such a big deal with Microsoft buying Activision Blizzard. Who cares? That's all. Well, it is an issue of the overall industry because of competition, right? So, which is weird. It's a weird thing too, because we've got these smaller segments of the industry that there is no competition. If you want to take a look at something like EA, right? Which is why there needs to be more regulations in the industry, which we all love, which is why we're here. We're like gaming, right? So video games, it is a very Wild West kind of situation, right? It's a very loosely regulated kind of industry. Yeah. So you want to talk about companies like EA, and yeah, I wasn't, sorry, Davey, if it came off like I was like pointing fingers at you and stuff, dude. No, I was just trying to get like a general sense of why I like in response to your comment above. But the thing that's weird about it is that, like, yeah, so we've seen where there have been like worldwide regulatory committees that have had to like kind of approve this big acquisition between Microsoft buying Activision Blizzard, right? But then when you look at these other segments of the gaming industry, there's no regulations at all. You know what I mean? Which is really, really, it sucks, dude. It sucks for all of us, because you take a look at, and the big deal about the reason there's been so much rigmarole and so many regulatory committees have had to approve this acquisition is because it is such a huge deal for the overall industry in regards to potential anti-competitiveness, right? Now, I think that you have to take a look at both sides of it. There's going to be anti-competitiveness of it because it's a large company buying another large company. Anytime any company absorbs another company, there's going to be anti-competitiveness, right? I also think that it's going to promote competitiveness as well. If you look at what Sony is now going to have to do, and Nintendo is now going to have to do to compete with the likes of what Microsoft has in their portfolio, that's going to create a new segment of what they're going to have to do to elevate competition to compete with what Microsoft is now going to have to offer, right? And so there's different ways to look at it. But when you talk about things like take a company like EA, right? EA has so many like different genres of like sports games on lock that nobody else can make, really, because they have the licensing for it. Like take like NFL games, NHL games, stuff like that, right? Forever they had the FIFA stuff, which, you know, they still are the only one really making anything decent on the soccer / football front, right? You know what I mean? FIFA's doing crap with that since they quit, but there's no competition there. So what EA does is not really give a crap. They take the same game from the year before, they slap a new cover on it, they take out the people that aren't playing, you know, the characters are, you know, the player representation, it gets changed from the people that are no longer playing from last year to the new year, and the new players that are coming into the league from this year that weren't there last year. That's about it. All they really care about is like their ultimate team stuff. So there's no there's no competition there to help them elevate the quality of their games every year. There's nobody else making those games to help them elevate their quality of their games. And there's no regulatory committee there either to say like, yo, you can't be the only ones that hold the license to that game or whatever. You know what I mean? Exactly, Davey, exactly. And everybody still buys Madden. They have nowhere else to go. They have nothing else to buy. So it's like, well, looks like I'm buying Madden again because there's nothing else. And EA knows that. So they just make another crap game, and they know everybody will buy it because they have nowhere else to go to play an NFL game, you know? So there's no there's not enough regulatory stuff about competition on that front in the industry. As well as I've talked about this a lot here recently too. You want to talk about like this industry being very Wild West in nature and no regulations and stuff like that. Dude, I talk about this a lot, about how like the responsibility falls on us as the consumer to quit supporting these bad industries and stuff. It's because there's no regulations. None of these companies get held accountable for creating terrible products, broken products on release. They don't get fined. They don't have to deal with recalls or anything like that. You know what I mean? They literally can just market the crap out of a game, promote the crap out of a game, know internally that the game's not ready for release and not give a crap anyways, and push it out the door knowing that it's going to be broken, make us pay for it, and then them not have any repercussions for it at all, other than maybe a little bit of a hit to their reputation as a company. But some of the companies are so big, they're willing to take that hit, which is not fair, dude. You know? So it's a really sad situation that responsibility falls on us as the consumer, you know? Yeah, I agree, but good night. Oof. Well, I mean, that's the problem too, though, right? That's the problem too. Is like, and then again, I mean, that's where also you come into play with, you know, needing regulatory bodies and committees to really oversee the way this industry works. Because right now, it's like a private company like the NFL being in cahoots with a company like EA. There's no middleman, right? There's no middleman for it. So there's nobody to like go, yo, you can't do that. You can't be the only company that holds the license. NFL, you can't, you know, no one single developer can hold the license to an NFL or to like a video game or whatever. You know, there's no regulatory committee to say that like that is not a thing, which in my opinion should be a thing because it promotes more competition. You know what I mean? And competition's good. You want that. Just like we were talking about with Madden. Nobody has anywhere else to go to play NFL games. So it's just, they can just push out whatever they want. People will buy it, right? And in my opinion, it should be more like, you know, finding out, you know, what is somebody like the NFL going to charge for the licensing for somebody to make a game based on their, you know, their rights, their likeness and stuff. And then anybody that is wanting to make a game can actually use that license if they're willing to pay that amount or whatever. But then there's still going to be like issues of, you know what I mean? They could set a price that was maybe, but that would still come to rate. There's a lots of ins and outs to it and stuff. So I don't know. It's rough, dude, but it's a weird industry for being really loosely regulated and everything. One second. I guess. I don't know all the ins and outs of it or anything either, but I mean, I do know that, like, especially when it comes down to like the games not being, and these companies not being held accountable and stuff, that's a terrible, terrible way for this industry to be run. And it happens to us all the time, you know. There's a difference between games. We talk about this a lot in this community too. You know, there's a difference between these games coming out and feeling normal. We expect games to have a little bit of some rough edges, needing a little bit of some polishing maybe sometimes on release and things like that, as opposed to the software being absolutely a broken hot piece of crap, you know, which isn't acceptable. And companies that push out that kind of product and, you know, cheat their consumer should be held accountable. They should face drastic fines. They should face recalls. You know what I mean? It should be, there should be enough regulations out there to hold them accountable that it prevents them from doing anything like that ever again. Because the ramifications of it would be so drastic and long lasting that it would prevent them from ever wanting to do anything like that again, you know? Oh yeah, Davey, do it, dude. Do it. I always liked the Blitz games, dude. The Blitz games were bangers. Yeah, so shout out to Pinky. We got the we're gonna talk about the Unity stuff again. God dang, bro. That escalated quickly, dog. Jesus. God dang. Bro. God dang. Yikers, dog. Jesus. So yeah, we got this up from Pinky. We'll take a look at this. Relogic has kind of come out with their own. It's very, very, I already read this too. This is a very good response to the Unity situation. And this is, Cappy and I were talking a lot about Dark and Darker the other day, which is Iron Mace and the way that they came about as a studio coming from Nexon. And there's a whole, there's a lot to, we've talked about this stuff before, but it's been a while. So we'll hash that out. So thanks, guys. Find what else we can talk about this morning. Oh yeah, this is the other thing that we talked about on Tuesday too. So because Microsoft owns ZeniMax, who owns Bethesda, and Bethesda, who owns many other subsidiaries, there was a lot of leaked documents about like games that were in the works coming down the road from Bethesda's development team and subsidiaries, right? And what that is basically remakes of Oblivion, Fallout 3. Both of those remakes are apparently in the works. Now, the leaked documentation was from right around the time right before the pandemic hit. So I think that a little bit of this is going to need to be taken with a grain of salt, because even if those projects are still in the works, they're going to be a little bit later, right? Then, because these documents were like 2020 timeframe, I think. Yeah, I mean, I've been calling it out like that forever, Cappy. I have. Yeah, and I mean, that's why, a lot of what I try to do here is educate people, on and what I think people have to start doing, because unfortunately it is our responsibility, because there are no regulatory committees above us to protect us, to protect us from those kinds of scummy scams that these companies are doing to us when they release bad products. There's nobody to hold them accountable. It really, ultimately, it falls on us, unfortunately. And so the problem is that if we continue to buy EA products, the problem just escalates. If we continue to buy Blizzard products, it just escalates. If we continue to buy, any of these developers, this is what I prompt people to do. Pay attention to developers. Pay attention to publishers. You know what I mean? If they've bitten you before, if they've done you wrong before, don't buy into it again until they show you that they can do better in the future. That's literally the responsibility we have as avid gaming enthusiasts in this industry. You support the good companies and you don't support the bad ones. Unfortunately, it falls on us, because otherwise you're just feeding the beast. Because there is nobody else to hold them accountable other than us. And I know that a lot of people are going to go, and it's not an easy thing to do. A lot of people don't care that much. And a lot of people, don't have time to care that much. And I understand that. It doesn't change the fact that nobody else is going to do it besides us. They never have, probably never will. So if anybody wants things to change, then it's going to ultimately be resting on our shoulders to, do something about not paying into these companies that do these scummy things to us. There's nothing else that can be done about it. Well, yeah, exactly. That's exactly the notion that I'm getting at, Cappy. Yeah. I think that this is what I try to prompt people to do. If you felt like you've gotten scammed, if you feel like you've bought into a product that was subpar or broken, then don't buy from that company again. That's the way it works, right? You can keep paying attention to that company and see if they do better in the future, because that's what you would hope. You would hope that they would do better in the future. If they show you that they've done better in the future, then maybe you take a chance on them again as somewhere down the line, right? But you don't pre-order from them again until they show you they can do better. You don't buy on release from them again until they show you they can do better. You wait until they release games. If they've already made you feel like they've stolen money from you, they've scammed you, whatever, then you wait till the game releases and then you take a look at reviews and stuff. You be hesitant about it. Be a little bit weary of their products. Even if it's something you're interested in playing, you should protect yourself, right? I think that's what people have to understand about this situation. There are still a lot of good developers out there that I feel pretty confident about buying into on pre-order or release. There's a lot that I don't, though. There's a lot that I don't, So I think that's the responsibility that really, falls on the shoulders of all of us as gaming enthusiasts and as the consumer, because there's nothing else out there to protect us, It's just it is what it is. It sucks. It sucks. But I mean, it's literally, and we've talked about this before. That's what's led to so many people, I think, you know, resorting to piracy and things like that, because they're tired of getting scammed. People are tired of getting scammed, man. They're tired of having to deal with these companies broke price, and they go, oh, well, we're gonna, you know, it's a real cat and mouse kind of thing. It's like, you know, we need to raise prices. Too many people pirating our games. It's like, well, people are pirating your games because you release broken crap. You know, it's like, come on, man. Like, I don't know. There's a lot of problems in the industry, and I don't, you know, I'm not going to claim to have all the solutions to fix everything either. But you know, I think I do have some decent insight into, you know, what we need to do as the consumer and enthusiast to try and not at least feed some of these terrible corporations. But yeah, this whole like Xbox leak thing, there's a lot of new documentation that's come out since like the beginning of the week. Some of the new games that were in there, talking about coming down from like Microsoft and Bethesda and everything, were the Oblivion and Fallout 3 remakes. There was Ghostwire Tokyo 2 from Tango. What else was in there? A couple of other ones. Well, obviously, the Elder Scrolls 6. Seems like there's one more I'm missing right now that I can't think of off the top of my head, but that was the gist of it anyways. I'd pay just for the idea of Mountain 2, friends. Right. Where the mountain's upside down instead. Yeah. And spinning the other direction. Talking about 5-head ideas, dude. What else we got? Come on, man. Yeah. Okay, over 500 developers are protesting Unity by demonetizing their games. Nice. All right. Well, we'll talk about all this some more of this Unity stuff. I mean, it's hot, dude, and rightfully so. Unity is just done. I think they're just so irreparably damaged. What, I don't know what they were thinking, dude. I just can't wrap my head around it, you know? Like, what was... How did they think that was going to play out for them? You know what that is? You know what that's a result of? That's a result of too many business people at the top of a company that have no idea what the gaming industry is about. I'm willing to bet a large chunk that that's exactly what that's a result of, you know? Unity's got a bunch of business people sitting at the top that go, yeah, man, we could rake in a bunch of money. Sitting there with their stogies, you know what I mean? What if we just charged everybody to install every single time a game's installed? Man, no, we could really line our pockets. Unity CEO has an interesting past. I was wondering about that. He looks like a piece of work, to be fair. I don't know. I mean, that's you know, I don't like to do that. I don't like to judge people on their outward presentation, but just looking at his picture and everything, I was like, oh god, dude, this guy gives me like a weird vibe. Upper Echelon is a good video. Oh, for real? He works for EA? Perfect. That makes sense. Yeah, I mean, wow, dude. Yo, if you have a link for that, Pinky, I'd love to have it posted in Discord or something, dude. That'd be great. Right. Yeah. Right, dude. Yeah. Yep. Gotcha. Yo. Wait, what? What is this? Okay, we'll see what that is. Talking about free games though. So today's the last day to get 911 operator for free on Epic Game Store, and then well, it's actually like 3 hours from now. You've got about 3 hours left to get 911 operator for free. And then as of later on this morning, probably around the time we'll be ending the Capcom Tokyo Game Show showcase, then you'll be able to get Out of Line and the Forest Quartet for the next week, okay? So don't forget to get your free games, dude. No brainer. No brainer. All right, let's look at our other search here. Might be a little bit bleak on the front of news this morning. Funny enough, I mean, look. This is the article that we came across the other day. Check this out. The article we came across the other day. Apple expects the iPhone 15 to be the best gaming console. I was like, what? What is this? Like, what are you talking about, bro? Like, their flipping PCs can barely even like run AAA titles. You know what I mean? And then they're gonna talk about their iPhones. Their new iPhone's gonna be the best console. Like, what? I don't know, dude. Unity got wrecked because X and Reddit is company, end user market, and Unity is company, end user market. This is nice. Yeah, Cappy, I agree, dude. Yeah. Yeah, it's a weird that's a weird company, dude. Apple is. What's next for Unity? Nothing. They die, dude. I mean, what else is there? I mean, look, dude. I've said this from the beginning of this debacle. It was like, oh, bro, they've shown their true colors. Doesn't matter how much backtracking they do. Developers have seen what they're about, and nobody's gonna want to have much to do with them anymore. It sucks. There's a real bad situation though for all those developers that have been already engaged in like developing games on that platform. You know, all the developers that have games that are already out and published and everything. It's a bad situation, but it doesn't change the fact that, and as we've seen, most developers' response has been like, yo, we'll just shut our game down, whatever. You guys suck. It's terrible. And even with the backlash, everybody's like, or even with the backtracking a little bit from Unity, most of the developers are like, so what, dude? You guys suck. There's no way. Like, we're done. Star Fox Artists' new Switch game has secured a publisher. Interesting. Glenn Schofield is leaving striking distance after the Callisto Protocol. Interesting. For those of you that don't know who Glenn Schofield is the main like the creative director behind the original Dead Space games, which is why the Callisto Protocol was supposed to be like its spiritual successor to Dead Space. And to be fair, the Callisto Protocol didn't do very good. It was pretty lackluster, honestly, from what I understand. Some people have said it was okay, but it was not what I think a lot of people expected bringing a Dead Space-esque game back into the fold to be. It felt very meh to a lot of people. Which, unfortunately, speaking of those scummy companies, Callisto Protocol came out right before Dead Space Remake, and Dead Space Remake was apparently pretty good. And with the Callisto Protocol being fairly not good, most people just went and played Dead Space Remake, which is an EA game. Yeah, Cappy, I mean, I think that's one of those things we look at quite often. I mean, take a look at Larian right now with Baldur's Gate 3, you know? I think it's one of the big things. It's not just how good the game is. You know, people like myself and yourself and most people that hang out here in this community, I mean, we take a look quite often at everything that a company has to offer. And I think one of the most recent representations of a solid company is going to be Larian. Larian is not small. We're talking about 450 plus, you know, employees, developers, and everything, right? They made a banger of a game. They had it in early access for 3 years. They listened to their community and fan base about what the game should be. They did a great job of incorporating a lot of that feedback. They only charge a base price for that game, you know, and it's massive. That game's huge. One of the most immersive games, if not the most immersive game we've ever seen at this point in video gaming history. There's no extra monetization in the game or anything like that, you know. And did it have maybe a little bit of some rough edges to begin with? Yeah. Because there's like apparently Act 3 across all platforms had some pretty bad frame rate issues and stuff, but Larian also was patching the crap out of that game on release. So they're sitting there working on it, trying to get it fixed. You know, it's overall, I mean, but look, the small amount of issues a game like that, the scale of the magnitude of a game like that, and the small amount of issues in respect to how big it is shown by like the kinds of scores it got. You know what I mean? I think it's one of those huge things that I think a lot of developers that you find to be not real consumer friendly neglect anymore is communication with the fan base and us as the consumer. Now, don't get me wrong. There's a reason why I think a lot of companies have gotten turned off by that notion too. Open communication, open lines of communication with the fan base, because there's some weird people out there, man. And they take things too far. Whether it be threats of any sort because something didn't go right that they asked for or whatever, or showing up at the doorstep of the company, or even data mining information about developers' personal lives and showing up at their doorstep of their own home, domicile. There's some weird people out there, man, that do crazy, crazy stuff. And it's a hard thing for developers to want to open those lines of communication, I think. You know what I mean? Oh, we got the Christmas music on? Sick. Let's go. I can't even really hear it very well right now. Oh, it just turned over. Yeah. All right, cool. We got something different now. Every once in a while, it just throws us a random, like, nice holiday vibe tune. You know what I mean? Yeah. Should be different now, though. Square Enix is one of those companies that I've been worried about for a long time. Their valuation's down like $2 billion right now. It'll go back up with the Final Fantasy VII stuff coming out. They're like packaging Remake Integrate with what's the new Final Fantasy game? What's it called? God, I can't remember. But they're packaging those games together too, which is going to be a good play for them actually. So we'll see what happens. But Square's one of those companies I think has lost their way a lot from who they used to be. So we'll see what happens there. South Park World of Warcraft episode held as the best video game episode of TV ever. Bro, that is a fantastic flipping episode. It really is. It's so good. It's so good. Oh yeah, Dishonored 3 too. This was one of the other ones that got leaked. Dishonored 3. Dishonored 3, here's the thing about Dishonored 3. We all know who makes Dishonored 3, right? Talking about companies to be a little bit wary of. What was the last game they made? Anybody know? Anybody want to call that out? Arcane? Last game Arcane made? No, you're good. Redfall. So, Arcane is another company that's under Bethesda, right? And to be fair, they've done a lot of really good games in the past. A lot of solid games in the past. Dishonored franchise series being some of them. Or being one of them. But Redfall has put Arcane in a bad spot as far as I'm concerned. You can see developer Arcane for Dishonored, and Bethesda is the publisher. It's because Bethesda owns Arcane. What's the yeah. Now take a look at Redfall. Mostly negative. Holy crap, that's rough, dude. Arcane and Bethesda once again. Yeah. So, I mean, look, I mean, I'll be very fair here. Like the Dishonored games and a lot of other things Arcane have done have been good, but I think that you have to look at the most recent thing that a developer has done. Gabby, I think you have to look at the most recent thing that a developer has done, and you take that into consideration. And you know, now that apparently they're making Dishonored 3, you don't pre-order this. You don't buy this day one. You let it release, and then you see how it's doing. There's no reason why anybody should be buying into a game like this after what Arcane did with Redfall. That's just the way this should go, you know? Yo, Ferret, what up, dude? Hey, man, did you see that article that I tagged you in Discord, man? I figured you'd really enjoy that. Yo, Liza P's doing very well, by the way, guys. Liza P, people are loving Liza P. You're printing epic Detective Pikachu promo stuff? Nice, dude. That's sick. All right, dude. You gonna take some home? You should just take some home and just line up your entire bedroom wall, make it look like it's just wallpapered with it. We've looked up reviews here recently for... Actually, I will. That's awesome. Liza P is doing very, very well, man, which is great to see. I really want to play it. Already planned for tomorrow after the boss leaves. Nice, dude. I tagged you in an article in Discord, dude. On the 19th. Here, I'll just pull it up, dude. I figured you'd like this. Here, check it out, dude. Here, this is for you, Ferret. Right here, bro. I tagged you in Discord on this, but I didn't get a response. I was like, oh, you probably didn't see me tag him in this. Yeah. Well, I figured you'd really enjoy this article, you know what I mean? So, it's there in the Discord if you want to take a look. Jesus. Okay, here's the deal, dude. Let's read about this. Mortal Kombat 1 Switch issues will absolutely be addressed. Okay. I think people need to understand that, like, there's only so much they'll be able to do about this version of this game, too, though. You know? Yeah, is it... Look, I've got an article, actually. I know, fair. That's what I thought, too. That's why I figured you enjoy it, dude. I knew you'd enjoy it because of that, yeah. That's the same thing I thought, dude. No doubt. Check this out. So... This is something that I posted on the YouTube channel yesterday from a previous news segment. Basically, it's like, who's to blame for the bad Mortal Kombat 1 Switch version, right? And, to be fair, I mean, even in that article, or in that VOD, I talk about, if you can't do a game right on a platform, you just shouldn't do it, right? I mean, that's the way that goes. But ultimately, the main point of what I get to in that VOD is like, Nintendo's hardware is old. And it's super constraining for developers trying to make a modern game like Mortal Kombat 1 that's ultimately developed for like modern technology, modern platforms like the PS5 and Xbox Series X and PC. And trying to get that game to work on something like the Switch is a difficult task. Whatever the case was, something happened, contract negotiations, whether Nintendo went to WB and NetherRealm or vice versa, and they came up with some contract to go, yeah, we want it on Nintendo. And both parties said, yeah, let's do it. And this was the best they could do or whatever. Look, man, I don't know how much of this is to be blamed on the dev themselves, but I can tell you this. A lot of this has to do with the differences in the kinds of hardware that this was originally developed to be released on. And the fact that you're never going to get the same kind of game on the Switch that you get off of a game of this caliber anyways on other platforms. It's just not going to happen, dude. There's no way. And so we'll see what this article has to say, but there's only so much you can do for a game like this trying to make it work on a platform like the Switch, dude. That's just the reality of the situation. Oh, yo, I want to talk about another game that came out, too. Yo, crazy enough. Dude, Nexon is pumping out some titles, by the way. Alright, we'll stick with all this. Check this out. You guys remember seeing Warhaven? So Warhaven just released in early access, dude. Alright? Right now it's mixed. Nexon's popping out some titles. I mean, we're playing one right now in the first Descendant beta, which right now I'm enjoying quite a bit. And actually, Ferret, you might want to take a look at. It's very Destiny, dude. The First Descendant, dude, is like Destiny meets Warframe, bro. It's like Destiny gameplay almost. It's not quite Destiny gameplay, but it's definitely got a lot of Destiny to it. And it's got a lot of Warframe. It's like a lot of the Warframe grind mechanics. And like character building and Warframe, how you obtain improvements for your characters and your weapons and stuff. So I think it might be worth taking a look at, dude. I mean, I'm going to be playing it all day. I'm actually, you know, today's the day that Payday 3 comes out, but I really enjoyed playing The First Descendant on Tuesday, and I'm going to play more of it today. It's a free-to-play game, by the way. And I'll bring up some stuff today. Let's talk about it in the news. We'll talk about it in the news. Basically, I looked up some more information after I quit playing on Tuesday because I wasn't sure exactly. This is a game that just kind of cropped up on me out of nowhere. I saw it in the, I'm not talking about Warhaven. Warhaven's one as well, but The First Descendant came up on me like on the June showcases, and I was like, oh, that looks pretty dope. Loot and shoot game, co-op stuff, you know, that's cool. And they were like, oh, if you want to try to sign up for the open cross-platform beta, that'll be coming up soon. You can go sign up for it. So I went and did it. And then Monday morning, I woke up and got an email saying I had access. And I was like, oh, cool, we'll try it out then. And I'm enjoying it, dude. And then I looked more into it. It's going to be a free-to-play game. Right now, Nexon's saying that they aren't planning on having any kind of pay-to-win. Anything that anything that's in the game, play-wise, you know, any kind of weapons, any kind of characters, anything like that is supposed to be grindable. Now, you can pay for it too if you want, but you're supposed to be able to grind all that stuff. Yeah, fair. Dude, so did True. Yeah, so, yeah. True did it the other day too. And I've really been enjoying it so far, dude. It feels pretty cool. Now, the thing that I wish was a little bit different was you basically unlock characters to play. Instead of having like a character that you make and then getting to play as different play styles with your own character, which is a little bit more immersive RPG wise, you basically play as different dedicated characters, which is a bit weird. Yeah, kind of like that. Yeah. So you like unlock these different characters. You have to grind out different characters' parts and stuff. There's actually a sub-quest very early in the beta where you get to, they basically give you the parts to create one of the characters, which I'll be unlocking this morning because it takes time. It's very Warframe, dude. It's very Warframe. They've got base versions of the characters, then they've got like these like ultimate versions of the characters and stuff too. And so it's all about grinding the materials you need and everything, but they've all got different abilities. There's a bunch of different ways to like build the characters and everything. As far as you get like these, basically like these little cards. They're called like modules and stuff. Oh, okay, yeah, cool, man, cool. Yeah, I'll be playing it probably through the rest of the week. I'm enjoying the beta so much that I'll probably just play it through the rest of the week, I'm guessing. I think True's going to be playing with me today. Anybody else that wants to hop into it, I think if you request access, you just get it, you know? And so it's pretty cool. I'll pull that up in a second. We'll talk more about that, but this is Warhaven, okay? Warhaven's also a Nexon game that just got released last night, I think, in early access. So take a look at this, and we'll look at reviews too. It's early access, so we'll keep that in mind. It's mixed reviews right now. This is it.
This is dedication. This is
Let me turn this music off.
This is how I really made it. You see the shine on me, yeah, I keep it like my gun. I live a fast life, living like I'm on the run. Watch your mouth, you're talking to an outlaw.
Yeah, I figured it was, dude. No worries. Yeah.
I know they hate it, that I ain't really like y'all. They crown me king when I'm around. Back down, break a glass jaw. For throwing stones, I ride by myself, I'd rather go alone. Victory is mine. I'm victorious. I'm ready. Victory is mine. I'm heavy. Victorious. I'm ready. Victory is mine. It's my time to shine.
So it's early access. It's free to play. Mixed reviews right now. Warhaven is a more casual version of For Honor and similar games, which does not instantly mean the game is totally skillless. It is quite fun, hard to put down. Definitely has one more round factor. There are for sure some balance issues that should be worked on. It's quite frustrating that certain classes can spam left mouse button at the same time are allowed to make multiple mistakes, while the more supportive classes can't. Game has a lot of potential for when you want to have a good laugh and play some fun PvP. 7 out of 5. Not a bad game, but PvE is capped at 5 games per day. What? Interesting. Yeah, I agree. That music didn't feel good to me either. Free to play, fun, easy control system, well optimized for old rigs. 9 out of 10. Game is good. Spam W. Love this game in the betas. With the release, though, they've reduced squad size to 3 people, and even worse, you can only incarnate into an immortal once per game now, which was the most enjoyable part. Incredibly disappointing. Was really exciting, but it looks like it is very, very mixed right now. And we'll just maybe keep track of this and see how it goes. Okay, that's interesting. But Nexon's pumping out some games right now, man. And we've got some Nexon stuff to talk about in the news, too. So, what I'll also talk about is, so the game we're playing, before we get into all these other articles, the game we're playing right now being First Descendant, where were they talking about the yeah, this is if you guys are interested, I kind of read about this, and this is the game we're playing right now, right? So what I was worried about was, because I've only played one day of this game right now, and while I really enjoyed the gameplay so far, this kind of game has the potential to be heavily pay to win, right? And we talk a lot about like a free to play game. And we should probably air quote that, because free to play can mean a lot of different things. It can be promoted as a free to play game and not truly be free to play. It can be more like free to try. It can be free to play with a heavy amount of pay to win, stuff like that. So there's a lot of different things to take into consideration, right? Yeah, always a concern, and it's something that I noticed very, very quickly whenever I got into the First Descendant, was that this game, dude, there is so much about this game that feels Warframe, and that's not bad. Not the gameplay per se, but a lot of the incorporations of the way you grind to unlock characters, the way you're upgrading your the loot that you get to upgrade your weapons power, your characters' powers and stuff like that. It's very, very, very Warframe, and that's not a bad thing. Warframe's a dope game, dude. I like Warframe, but just that in and of itself presents an opportunity. And to be fair, is Warframe Striking Distance? What's the name of the Warframe dev, dude? Why can't I remember their name right now? Digital Extremes. Who's Striking Distance? What was I thinking, dude? Digital Extremes. they're one of the best, I think, examples of a company that has done a fantastic job with a free to play game. Dude, they've got premium currency in the game, but you can grind like literally everything in that game if you're just willing to do it. So you can, it's basically a free to play game where you can pay to progress faster. It's not pay to win, it's pay to progress faster. And the game is developed so very, very well. It feels so good. The economy's fantastic in that game. They've done a great job with the economy in that game. And I think that this game, The First Descendant, has the same kind of potential because of what I read about in this article. So let me touch on this real quick. So Nexon Games' upcoming looter shooter, The First Descendant, will be free to play, but the studio wants its monetization to be fair. The Steam beta for Nexon Games' upcoming looter shooter, The First Descendant, is coming soon. It's already out. We're playing it, right? And the closer it gets, the more questions that gamers have about it. Nexon Games sat down with us here at Segment Next to answer a few pressing questions about the game, in particular, how The First Descendant monetization mechanics will work. The First Descendant takes place in a fantasy world where, as one of the titular descendants, players inherit mystical powers and must use them in order to protect the contingent of Ingress from the alien Vulgus, fighting giant monsters and uncovering the mystery of your abilities in the process. The First Descendant is, as most looter shooters are these days, a free-to-play game, meaning that it will be relying heavily on microtransactions and in-game purchases in order to support itself. Naturally, this has resulted in a lot of trepidation from players. However, according to the studio, it's not as bad as they think. Quote, we believe that many players are concerned about our game being pay to win. Since the beginning of development, we have set the direction for our game to not be pay to win. Now, let's be fair. I think there has been. It's just, this was one of the better articles I found that addressed this particular topic that I was looking for. I found it yesterday. This covered exactly what I was looking for, and so I just looked for this again today. So that's, I don't know. I didn't do a lot of heavy research on Tuesday after the stream. I just was looking explicitly for this type of topic about pay to win. This felt like what I was looking for, and so I just went for it again today. I found this, just found it, went for it again. Yeah. So, I mean, to be fair, it's not like it's like a 1.5 or 2-year-old article or anything. You know what I mean? About 9 months or something. You know what I mean? So, that's not too bad. Too bad for a game that's, you know, just releasing in a beta state or whatever. But, I don't know. Moving on here. We chose our, so let me get back to what I was going to say here. We believe that many players are concerned about our game being pay to win. Since the beginning of development, we have set the direction for our game to not be pay to win. So we would like to tell you that you would not have to worry about it. So to be fair, even though because this article is about 9-10 months old, right? There's always the potential. We see devs do this kind of thing all the time, where they'll say this kind of thing and then they'll pivot away from it, right? There's always a concern about that. Yeah, there's always a concern about developers telling you one thing and then pivoting away and doing something else. They want you to believe they're on your side and they do something to turn away from that notion, right? We're always a bit worried about that kind of thing happening. And just because they start a game being monetized a certain way doesn't mean they won't pivot after it's released and everything too. So, you know, the hope is that they stay in line with what they originally are saying here, right? And to be fair, yeah, it's been 9 or 10 months since this came out, so we'll have to see if they stick to this. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Ferret. So we would like to tell you that you would not have to worry about it. We chose our game to be free to play because one of the main goals for our project is to become a long-loved, ongoing project. As you have mentioned, paid products will indeed exist, but we can assure you that the characters, equipment, and stages that are needed for gameplay, this is important, and progress in the game can be earned through gameplay. From the beginning of development, Nexon Games has done its best to prevent the game from being a pay-to-win title, a common issue in free-to-play games where players can spend huge amounts of money to get the best gear. In the first Descendant, characters, gear, and stages can all be obtained simply by playing through the game. While there will be premium items, the vast majority of obtainable items will not be affected by monetization. Now that's a concerning thing. The vast majority of obtainable items. This is going to be right, exactly, Ferret. Yeah. So the thing that is, and so I'll take you back to a game like Warframe, which this gets a lot of influence from, anyways. And maybe even we'll take a different genre too, like Lost Ark is an MMORPG that's free to play, and it does pay to progress, right? Not pay to win, pay to progress. Same thing with Warframe. You don't get pay to win in there, you get pay to progress. But they're free to play games, and anything in those games you can obtain as a free to play player. It might take you a little bit longer, but you can get it. That's the big difference. You don't want to see games, and they're very successful games too. Very successful, very lucrative games. You don't want to see games do anything to give anybody items that you can pay for with real world money that everybody else can't get. That sucks. That's going to be a huge turnoff for most people. It's different if it's just like a skin or something like that. You know what I mean? If it's a skin or a color palette or something, whatever, dude. We expect some of that in some of these like free to play games. You know what I mean? They've got to make their money. We understand that, right? So a lot of what, even a game like, Path of Exile, Grinding Gear Games, it's all cosmetics. Everything you buy is cosmetic, besides maybe a few quality of life items like more stash tabs and everything. So we expect there to be cosmetic kinds of items that are not obtainable in the game through gameplay that you have to pay for, right? Yo, nice, Pinky. GG's, dude. Dude, my throat's jacked this morning. Sorry, guys. But actual in-game items, whether it be a weapon, a character, anything like that, to be something you have to pay for, that will suck. Oh, for real? They got DDoS, dude? Yikers. Yeah. That's a pretty pretty big DDoS, dude. Tuesday and at least partly yesterday too. Jesus. I don't know what's up in my throat. Sorry, guys. However, more details about the game's monetization are not forthcoming, as Nexon wants players to be able to experience the game's Steam beta before talking more about the monetization systems. Considering the beta will likely be a trial by fire for the game, hopefully everything said about not wanting it to become pay to win turns out to be true. See, this is a big thing. After the beta, we're going to find out exactly how this rolls out. So, I mean, you guys know how I am. I'm enjoying the game so far, but that's why I wanted to look this stuff up, is because I'm not going to try to like sugarcoat anything and be like, oh, this game's badass and, it's going to be free to play and it's not going to be pay to win or anything. I wanted to look up information and give everybody exactly what to expect out of this title. I'm enjoying it right now. And if it remains a great free to play title that doesn't have pay to win, then I'm probably going to continue to play this game on release. But that's exactly right, Ferret. We're going to have to wait until it releases to find out. It's supposed to release, I think, in February of this coming year. So be prepared for this game to become like our community, like loot and shoot game, our community weekend gameplay game come February, okay? As mentioned earlier in the first Descendant, you can get all the items you need for gameplay through the in-game gameplay itself. Our monetization model will be based on the condition that our game will not be pay to win. It would be better for us to give more specific details after the Steam beta test. Again, we would like to emphasize that there is no plan to induce excessive payment or for pay to win. Afterland Wars, yeah. The First Descendants beta period will begin on October 20th. Yep. Nope. That's September. So this is old, obviously, but the game is fun right now, and I'm enjoying it. And I have been prompting people to go request access. No plan. Yeah, well, I mean, look, I would say I would much rather hear a company go, "We won't." Give me a definitive. You know what I mean? Give me a definitive. We won't do this. But at least it's better than having a company say, "We won't do this," and then turn around and actually do it. That feels worse than a company at least leaving themselves open to potentially do something in the future. At least you're not leaving yourself in a position to be totally disappointed if they do something like this because they were like, we don't have plans right now to do that. As opposed to them going, we'll never do this, and then turning around a month later and going, well, sorry, get wrecked. And so I don't know, man. I mean, the hope here is that because the game feels great, it really does. Dude, in the beta even, this is a beta, and I'm probably going to change some of my video settings this morning to see what I can do with like 120 frames. But I was playing this game on medium settings, and I'm streaming it on my same rig and everything too. So medium settings, DLSS balanced mode, and 60 frames. I had like literally no frame flux. I had one situation the entire day I played. To be fair, the game crashed the first time I started playing it on Tuesday, but it was because I hadn't gotten into the video options yet. The frames were stupid high. There was a lot of wonkiness, and it crashed pretty quick. But after that, it was fine. I got to address the video options and everything. And it was flawless the rest of the day. I'm talking like a steady 60 frames. I very, very rarely ever. It's cross platform. That's what this beta is. It's literally being promoted as cross platform beta right now. Look, right here, cross play open beta period. Yep. Yeah, so you'll get in there and you'll see all kinds of people with like PlayStation icons and stuff like that. Yep. So again, I got my video settings set to I'm playing at 1440p. I throttled my frames to 60, medium settings, DLSS balanced, and I very rarely ever saw my frames dip below 60. Most of the time in games, I'll see a flux between like 58 to 60. This game was steady, dude. I mean, steady 60 the whole time almost. There was one particular segment where I dropped some frames for about 4 seconds. That was about it for the entire day I was playing on Tuesday. And for a beta, dude, that feels great. That feels great. And I feel like the game looks really good even at those settings too. So I'm pretty impressed so far. Today, what I'll probably do is go in and unlock the frames a bit to where I'll push it up to 120 and we'll see what I get out of it. Again, I usually normally am crushing about 25% of my GPU resources just off of streaming and everything. But we'll see what happens today when we run the game. Okay. But yeah, if you guys want the store page for the First Descendant, which is what we're playing today, the beta, I think you can. Fair, did you request access off of the Steam page? Is that where you requested access at? I couldn't remember whenever I requested access initially if it was off of the Steam page or their website. Yeah. Okay. Cool. That's what I figured. So if you're on PC, you can go to that link that I just put in chat, and you can request access. And both Ferret and our buddy True two of our mods here in the community have already just gone in and requested access and gotten it immediately. So if you're interested, I don't know how you request it on other platforms. I'm guessing it's pretty easy. You just probably have to go look up the game on that console or whatever, and there will be a request access page, I'm guessing. But for PC, pretty easy. Go to that link that I just put in chat, request access, and you should be able to start downloading. It's about a 20 gig download for the beta. So understand that. On PC anyways, I don't know about consoles. All right, let's get into the rest of these articles here. In about an hour, we're going to have the Capcom. Let me make sure I've got this right. Let's look at this real quick. So Capcom has a from the Tokyo Game Show, 7 a.m. Pacific. That should be 9 o'clock Central, which is coming up in about an hour. Okay, so in about an hour, we should have the Capcom showcase from the Tokyo Game Show. They are already showing this is what we can expect to see from them. Gross. But Ace Attorney, Trilogy, Street Fighter 6 content, Exoprimal. Look, man, Exoprimal had a decent core to it. But, dude, the monetization that they were trying to wring out of people in this game felt really, really gross, dude. Especially for a game that they wanted people to pay for in the first place. Dragon's Dogma 2. Oh, my God, dude. I can't wait to see this morning. And Resident Evil 4. So, here in about an hour, we're going to watch the Tokyo Game Show Capcom presentation. And then we'll move on and play First Descendant for the rest of the day, okay? That's what we got going on. Okay, let's jump back into this Mortal Kombat 1 Switch issue, which we've addressed. I have a VOD on the YouTube channel. I linked it a little bit earlier in the chat so people could see what I've already talked about. But wait, what are you talking about, Ferret? Who's they and what game? We've talked about a number of things here. Oh, Exoprimal? Well, I mean, dude, I've been touting Capcom as a decent developer for a while now. You know, of the AAA, in the AAA realm of developers, I think that Capcom is upper echelon, you know? They feel like a developer that has not lost their way, and I really like that. But then, like, I was touting them like that, and then Exoprimal came out. And again, I think the core of what they have there is decent, but there's a lot of weird stuff about that game. And it felt very, very repetitive really quick. It felt really repetitive really quick. It had a really weird mechanic where I played for like 5 or 6 hours the first day before I ever got to unlock any kinds of new gameplay modes. You can't even pick what gameplay modes you want to play. And it's just so heavily monetized. Like, the monetization in it is so gross. It was just like battle pass, buy characters, buy skins, buy this, buy that, and it's like, and it should have been a free to play game. Is what it should have been. It should have been a free to play game with all that monetization in it. It should have been free to play. That's why it was just a big turnoff to me. I just didn't. I don't know. It was weird. It's a weird game. I think that the core for something decent was there, but what they built off of that core was wrong. You know, which I don't normally see from Capcom, to be fair. But it's not something that appealed to me very much, for sure. And it's on Game Pass, which is good. And that's where I played it at, and that's what I recommend people do. Don't pay full price for that game, for sure. If you want to try that game out, you should play it on a subscription service. All right, so get back into this. I already kind of addressed this a little bit. I've got a VOD on the YouTube channel right now from a previous video gaming news segment addressing this. So I'll get, this goes straight back to what we were talking about this morning, though, dude. It sucks we even have to say that, dude. You know what I mean? There's no reason we should ever have to say that. It sucks, dude. What a terrible thing. What a terrible notion that we have to even bring up. Man, wow, great. That's great that that company released a game that worked. We were talking about like the need for regulations in the industry this morning. You know what I mean? The it's like kind of a Wild West scenario, and the fact that like there just needs to be more regulations, and the fact that basically the responsibility falls on our shoulders as gaming enthusiasts and the consumer to hold companies accountable for doing scummy things to us. You know what I mean? Because that's the case so often. It sucks that we have to point that out all the time. Oh wow, dude, a AAA company released a game that actually performed pretty well on release. That's the mind state most of us are in, dude. It's terrible. It sucks. You know what I mean? I think that most people don't sit there and take a look at like what we're actually saying. You know what I mean? It's so terrible, man. It feels so bad that that's the mindset we're in all the time. But you're not wrong. It just sucks and it's terrible. It's such a bad thing for us to have to deal with all the time. I hate it so much. Um, you're not wrong. It feels so bad that that's the mind state that we've gotten to, and that we have to be in, you know. Right, Parrot. Yeah. All right, Mortal Kombat 1 Switch issues will absolutely be addressed, Ed Boon says. Yeah, so I didn't realize until we read the article on Tuesday that I have out there on the, I clipped out, highlighted, and put on the YouTube channel about this situation that apparently Mortal Kombat 1's port to the Switch and PC version were not done by NetherRealm. They were done by Saber and another company, which is weird, but it's not like it's abnormal for this kind of thing to happen either. Players have been criticizing the Switch port's graphics and performance. Look, man, before I even dive into this article, I'll go exactly back. I'm just going to link this again in case anybody is hanging out. They haven't seen my initial reaction to this on from Tuesday. We were down yesterday, but from Tuesday, that's the VOD on YouTube where I address this. And here's the issue, okay? You're porting a game from a modern high fidelity game that plays with a higher frame rate. This is a fighting game. The higher the frame rate you can get, at least minimum 60 frames per second. You're porting this over to an old platform with old mobile hardware in it that is very constraining for developers, okay? And I say this towards the end of my VOD that I just linked there in chat from Tuesday that's on the YouTube channel. If you can't do a game right, you shouldn't do it. That's the way this goes, right? But it's also not, for anybody that is trying to buy and play this game on the Switch to think that you're going to get something even remotely close to the versions that PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, and PC has, you're out of your flipping mind. You don't understand technology. And you don't understand the gaming world. The Switch is old. The hardware in it is even older than it is. It is mobile technology, which doesn't age well in the first place. It's better now than it used to be. But this hardware was already old 2 to 3 years after the Switch released. And so nothing of this caliber in modern gaming getting ported over to the Switch is going to be anything comparable to what it is on other platforms. It's just not. Anybody that expects it to be is not thinking straight. Okay? It is, I mean, and people go, well, if this is the version we're going to get, then, we shouldn't be paying $70. I agree. It's not worth $70. But you also have to be realistic about the situation. It's a brand new AAA title. If they bring the price down for the Switch version, they're they're going to start getting flack from the other console versions too about why are we paying more? So it's never going to happen. Now, I'll go back to it. If you can't do a version right, you don't do it, dude. But these companies know they still stand to make more money off of doing it. So they're not, they're going to look at it that way. They're going to keep doing things like this because even though it feels bad to us, they're going to make money off of it. You know what I mean? So shame on them, but it is what it is. And at this point, people should understand the way this works. You would think anyways. But, I mean, look, even with Ed Boon, and we'll read this article, but even with Ed Boon saying, hey, we're going to fix this, it's still not going to be the same game you get on other platforms. It can't be. The hardware of the Switch is not good enough to run the same kind of game of Mortal Kombat 1 that you're getting on other platforms. It's just not, dude. You're not going to get it. Not even remotely close. It won't look the same. It won't play the same. It's just not. Anybody that expects it to be is not living in the same, and they're not living in reality, dude, of this industry or our world. It's just not the way it works, dude. The various issues with the Switch version of Mortal Kombat 1 will be fixed, series co-creator Ed Boon says. The game was released on Tuesday, but in the days before that, players with the Premium Edition had early access and were questioning the Switch version's performance. While the Switch version was never expected to go toe-to-toe with Xbox Series X and S and PS5 versions visually, its graphical downgrades combined with significant performance issues have left some commenters questioning why Nintendo players are being asked to pay $70 for what appears to be a clearly inferior product. In an interview with BBC Newsbeat, Boon says issues with the Switch version will be fixed, promising it will absolutely be getting an update. A number of the concerns. Sorry, this messed me up. The is in there twice. Concerns of the issues that had come up with will absolutely be addressed, Boon promised. It would be ideal for us to have released the version that we absolutely wanted, but anything that we're finding a problem with is on our list and it's going to be fixed. Shouldn't have released it when you did. Yo, nice, General. Yeah. It's much better hardware in that than in the Switch too, though. That's great, though. How you doing, General? What's up, man? Happy Thursday. Current gen versions of the game have been well received by critics, garnering an 88 on Xbox and 86 on PlayStation. Scores on review aggregation site Metacritic. Few Switch reviews have been published, but those are generally negative, as expected. Frame rate issues. Look, man. I'll say it anyways. A game of this genre is already going to not play great at 30 frames, which is all that is the most you can expect out of the Switch anyways. And then you're probably going to be dealing with dips of frame rate where it stutters and stuff too, which is going to feel really, really bad. Input timing problems, performance drops, missing content, game-breaking bugs, no invasion mode. Oh, wait, I thought invasion mode wasn't even in there. Maybe they got it in finally. Yeah, look, man. I mean, to be fair, I'm not going to take up for WB or NetherRealm or the actual the studios that they contracted to port this over to the Switch. This is terrible. It shouldn't be done like this. You know what I mean? If you can't do a game right, you don't do it, man. That's the way this needs to go. So to all the people out there feeling cheated and skamazed by buying into this product, feels bad. But you also need to be realistic about what kind of game you're buying on the Switch platform. The Switch is old. Nintendo is part of the problem here. developers are severely handcuffed by what they can get done on this platform also. And this is partially a Nintendo problem. They've wanted to stretch this old, dated, mobile, underpowered hardware out for a long time. And it's been a rough thing for developers to deal with. So should they have released Mortal Kombat 1 in this state on this platform? Absolutely not. But it's also partially Nintendo's fault that this is happening. We've seen it time and time again with other games trying to get. I mean, look, man, even a game like Genshin Impact, they've said Genshin Impact was going to be on the Switch forever, and at least Huyo was like, we can't get it done, you know. We can't get it done. It's the hardware's too old. It's too busted. It's too old. It's too bad, you know. Once the next version of the hardware comes out, you know, Nintendo's next console, then, you know, a better Mortal Kombat 1 version will be out. I bet Genshin Impact will come to it and everything too, you know. But it's not just the blame doesn't just get laid on one company right here in this occasion, as far as I'm concerned, right? Second, yeah. So I don't know. It's a difficult thing. Oh God, yeah, you're not wrong there, Ferret. Yo, in general, I'm great, buddy. I'm great, dude. We're gonna watch the Capcom showcase for Tokyo Game Show coming up here in about 50 minutes, dude. And yo, it's random mode time. And then we're gonna play some day 2 of the beta of the First Descendant, man. It's gonna be good. Yeah. So I don't know, man. This is just really a reiteration of what I already went over on Tuesday, but we'll see what they're able to get done with it. But I mean, it does look terrible. I mean, to be fair, it looks a little bit scarier. You know? Oh man. Yo, that's Pinky's kind of emote right there. Pinky needs to get in on this flipping this rando mode, dude. Star Fox Artists' new Switch game has secured a publisher. Takaya Imamura's Omega 6, the video game, will be shown at Tokyo Game Show this week. Oh, cool. You're just thinking that, yeah. So, Imamura, who left Nintendo in 2021 after 3 decades, is leading the art direction and graphics for the game, which is an adaptation of his debut manga, Omega 6. Cappy, nice. Peaky. Yeah, dude. Yeah. Get bonked, dude. A text-based adventure game with 16-bit styling, Omega 6, the video game, is in development at Happy Mill and Pliocene, and is set to be published by Embracer's Clear River Games, along with publishing partner City Connection. Game will also feature an original soundtrack by Japanese composer and sound designer Shinobu Amiyaki, another former Nintendo employee, perhaps best known for composing the music to Stunt Race FX. Omega 6, the video game, will debut on the show floor of the Tokyo Game Show, which is running from today through the 24th. It features a brand new story taking players on an intergalactic journey to locate a new home for the human race. Let's see what this is, dude. Oh man, I need so much coffee this morning. Gabs, what up? Nice, dude. Nice, Gabs. Pog. No, you got Komodo hype. You didn't get Pog Chant. Nice try, sucker. You got Komodo hype. Nice try. Nice try. Yeah. You thought you were Poggers. You're just Komodo. You thought you were Poggers. You're just hype. Got off early today, word. I like that they have the same emote with a different name, though. Okay, cool, Ferret. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, cool, man. Well, have a good day till we see you later, buddy. How was your day, Gabs? Was meh? That sucks. I'm sorry. Yo. You too, buddy. Happy working, though, I think. Pass your math test. Nice. Ferrito. Cool, that looks wild. With adventure around every turn, the path rarely runs smoothly for Voyagers Thunder and Kira, who, joined by the robot Prop and alien Flavo, are forced to embark on a dubious treasure hunt in the ruins of a strange planet to settle their mounting debts. Speaking exclusively to VGC earlier this year, Imamura explained the similarities between Omega 6 and Star Fox. Story-wise, it's different, but the style I draw, which is like a retro future, is similar, he said. That's the only thing I can draw. That's my style, so I didn't change it. I always wanted to draw manga with this style, so I just applied it from my past games. Cool, man. I'll link it if you guys are interested. Yo, Cappy, I'm the same way, dude. All I have is coffee in my belly right now. I need to get some breakfast, so I'll be finishing up the news, though, and we'll do a break before this this Tokyo Game Show stuff pops off for Capcom, and I'll make something to eat. Yeah. Mozzarella sandwich? Dude, I'll just sit there and eat like gobs of mozzarella. I don't even care. I like it. Glenn Schofield is leaving striking distance after the Callisto Protocol misfire. Dead Space co-creator said his departure is bittersweet. Yeah. Striking distance. Yeah. Crafton representative. Oh, wait. I didn't know striking distance. Oh, that's why I was thinking striking distance earlier. Is owned by Crafton. Yo, hey, Cappy, check it out, dude. We ought to just do your article next. Striking distance is owned by Crafton too. Oh yeah. I mean, I don't care. I'll put as much mozzarella in my mouth as I can fit in there and still chew. You know what I mean? Maybe get a few pieces of like pepperoni stuffed in there too, just for a little bit of some extra savory. Well, Crafton is the company that we were talking about that owns they're the ones that own PUBG, made PUBG and everything, right? And they've bought out a lot of other companies now. They're the South Korean company, right? They're the ones that are doing the mobile version of Dark and Darker, right? A dip of pesto or olive oil. Oh yeah, dude. Oh, you're making me hungry, dude. Put some cracked black pepper up in there. Oh, striking distance. Well, I don't know. I mean, they made Callisto Protocol, which was pretty meh, really. So I don't know. I wouldn't say great right now. Sorry, misinterpreted. Crafton representative told Bloomberg Schofield has decided to pursue new opportunities. The Striking Distance's chief operating officer and chief financial officer are also leaving the company voluntarily. Former Sledgehammer Games and Visceral Games general manager Schofield, who is best known as the co-creator of Dead Space, founded Striking Distance in 2019 with the goal of crafting an original narrative experience in the PUBG universe. The project evolved over time into a sci-fi survival horror game that was no longer tied to the PUBG franchise. Callisto Protocol received mixed reviews when it was released last December, a month before EA released a critically acclaimed Dead Space remake. In January, an analyst claimed Crafton had targeted 5 million sales for the Callisto Protocol, but that following a slow start, it could struggle to reach 2 million by the end of 2023. Yeah, it's not doing very good. Bloomberg reports that Striking Distance has laid off over 30 employees of staff in recent months, and that it now has a headcount of around 90 employees, according to its website. Striking Distance's chief development officer, Steve Papoutsis, will replace Schofield as CEO. Papoutsis was one of Schofield's first hires at Striking Distance. He also previously worked at EA's Visceral Games, where lead development of the Dead Space franchise, and eventually became general manager after Schofield's departure to Activision's Sledgehammer. Schofield called his departure from striking distance bittersweet, but I know the studio is in excellent hands. Uh, Not that I know of. I think this is their first game actually. Cappy. I don't think they've made anything else. I think striking distance. If I could be wrong, but I think this is their first game, Callisto Protocol. Yeah. Yeah, I think that was kind of the case. Probably Cappy. Yep. That's usually the way that goes. Yep. Kind of what I was thinking too. Just ate a big late lunch. Yo, word. I actually I took my kids to a buffet yesterday. We slaughtered a buffet. We were actually going to go grab some food and bring it home for lunch because I didn't stream yesterday, so I did some stuff with the kids. We were just going to go grab some lunch and bring it back here, but the place we were going to go get lunch at was closed, and so we went and ate at like a Chinese buffet yesterday. And That's funny, Gabs. And so yeah, I ate a ton of food. I didn't even really hardly eat much dinner last night because I was just so stuffed. It was good though. Yeah. To be fair, I mean Schofield turned that into what was supposed to be the spiritual successor to Dead Space, and it didn't go very well. So, I mean, I think that a lot of the responsibility probably falls on his shoulders, and that's probably an appropriate response there. Well, he probably made a good chunk of money just the entire time he was there working, more than likely. I don't know. Hot off a lawsuit, Dark and Darker Dev announces mobile port. Speaking of crafting, yeah. So shout out to Cappy for this. We were talking about the whole Dark and Darker situation with Nexon. We're playing a Nexon game right now. Well, I've already covered a lot of this in the news segment. Previous news segments. Dark and Darker is a medieval fantasy styled extraction game that has gained a lot of traction over the past year to year and a half. And it's being created by a studio called Iron Mace that is at its core consists of some former Nexon employees. So I'm going to kind of TLDR this, what's going on here for everybody. Basically, what has happened is Nexon basically accused Iron Mace of stealing assets. The core members of this Iron Mace team that used to work for Nexon has accused them of stealing assets that they were working on for Nexon projects to use on the Dark and Darker that they're using on the Dark and Darker game. Iron Mace has basically refuted that, said that no, that's not the case, and but it's been taken to there are lawsuits in. Basically, Steam got hit with a cease and desist to take the Dark and Darker beta and delist the game off of their platform. There's been all kinds of stuff to which basically made Iron Mace get to where they were hosting the Dark and Darker beta testing stuff through like torrent sites and everything, which is really sketchy. Iron Mace's studios got raided and by like law enforcement officials. A lot of stuff confiscated to try and determine whether or not they had actually stolen any of these assets or whatever. But at this point, basically, the last we had heard was that this lawsuit, the side of this lawsuit that was going on here in the U.S. has basically been thrown out, and basically what amounted to the judge going, this isn't where this should be taking place. But these companies are South Korean-based companies, and for some reason, the litigation and lawsuits and everything got started here in the U.S. I don't know if I think that Iron Mace is also South Korean, but I know Nexon is, and so basically the judge was like, yeah, this is done here. If you want, so it doesn't mean that this entire process is over, but the fact of the matter is, like, for it to take place here where the companies aren't even located at, the judge was like, I don't really have any kind of jurisdiction over this, and so it could move forward with more legal proceedings happening actually in South Korea. We're going to have to wait and see. But it's been a real long rigmarole of just wild, wild crap going on. Dark and Darker is still out there. People are still playing it. They're still loving it. But nobody really knows if any of these assets were actually stolen or not. It's a really wild situation. But hot off a lawsuit, Dark and Darker dev announces mobile port. So a mobile version of Dark and Darker has been announced, and it's being published by the company behind PUBG. Earlier today on August 24th, so this was a month ago, right? PUBG mobile publisher Crafted announced that it had struck a deal with the developer Iron Mace for a mobile version of Dark and Darker. Quote, we've been watching Dark and Darker's potential and distinct creativity with great interest, said Raphael Lim, senior head of publishing at Crafton, in a statement. From the genre to the setting of the overall IP, Dark and Darker tapped into something compelling with its existing PC release. Here at Crafton, we can't wait to share these exciting dungeon runs with a whole new community of fans on mobile. Right now, these are all the details Crafton and Iron Mace can share about the mobile version. Ultimately, we don't know when Dark and Darker will eventually be coming to mobile devices. We also don't know how the port of the game will function. Could very well be a cloud-based version of the multiplayer game, or it could be a full native port given Crafton's experience with PUBG Mobile. This news follows hot on the heels of Iron Mace succeeding in getting a lawsuit against it dropped. Publisher Nexon originally sued Iron Mace over allegations of stolen assets, which caused Dark and Darker to be pulled from Steam, something Iron Mace is still working to remedy, like I just talked about before. Earlier this month, a U.S. judge ruled that Nexon's lawsuit would be better heard in South Korea, as I also stated, where Iron Mace is based, and so dismissed the lawsuit on those grounds. This doesn't mean Iron Mace is free of the lawsuit, though, as Nexon could now file the suit again in South Korea. So, there we go. It's a really weird situation. Epic Game Store Stealth releases a bonus free game. What are we talking about here? I already talked about the free games right now. Look, guys, if you haven't seen this, the 911 Operator is free right now for the next, hour and a half. You've got an hour and a half left to get this, and then it will be gone, and you will be able to grab Out of Line and the Forest Quartet for the next week for free on Epic, okay? Grab your free games. So they stealth released a bonus free game that users were not expecting. My Pet Hooligan launched exclusively on Epic Game Store and is free to download and play. Developed by AMGI Animation, My Pet Hooligan is initially released as an early access title, which means that what's seen in the game so far won't be reflective of its final product down the road. To reach that 1.0 launch, though, AMGI Animation will be working with the game's burgeoning community to help create an experience that fans want. It's a third-person action game that boasts an incredibly vibrant art style. Players will be able to create their own titular hooligan that is customizable in a variety of unique ways. From here, you'll be able to wander about the world of Hooligan City to skateboard, spray paint, and take on other players in battle. All in all, My Pet Hooligan looks to be quite a unique title and could gain quite a bit of attention in the days and weeks to come, given it's free to play. Let's look at this. My Pet Hooligan. Huh.
Let's get it. Lego.
Mount up, be straight, get home, be safe. My team, we don't play them Rays or we ain't. You already know we some hooligans. What am I to be but a hooligan? Catch me in the street with them hooligans. Say you down for the couch, gotta prove it. Say you down for the couch, gotta prove it.
So it's Fortnite with rabbits.
We out here, what's happening? Got factions, by the masses. When I test RG, we AK deep in the street with a fleet. Made a six-skate drop to his knee, but believe that's what you call anarchy. On the rise, strategize every move when we ride. Don't care what fact you from or how much dirt you done. We on the takeover, so pick a side. Mount up, think straight, get home, be safe. My team, we don't play them Rays or we ain't. You already know me, some hooligans. What am I to be but a hooligan? Catch me in the street with them hooligans. Say you down for the couch, gotta go. Mount up, think straight, get home, be safe. My team, we don't play them Rays or we ain't. You already know me, some hooligans. What am I to be but a hooligan? Catch me in the street with them hooligans. Say you down for the couch, gotta prove it.
Yeah, I can see that too, Gabs. Yeah. I mean, here's the link. If you guys are interested, it is free to play. So I don't know if you're interested. There it is. Okay, so this is kind of the last thing we're going to go over today before we get ready for the Capcom Tokyo Game Show Showcase, which will be coming up here in about 30 minutes. Both of these articles that I have up right now are kind of regarding the same thing, which is the Unity debacle. We've talked about this a lot over the past week, really, because this all took place really on the evening of the 12th. There are a couple of VODs on the YouTube channel where I have addressed this in length. There's the initial reaction to this, which is that VOD, as well as a bit of another breakdown talk about this in one of the following news segments after that. So if you want some, nice lengthy, I mean, it's not till they're about 15 to 17 minutes each, respectively, I think. Something like that. You can go take a look at everything we covered and talked about regarding this situation. But, we're going to take a look at these two things here. One is, obviously you can see the title of this. Then we're going to look at Relogic, which is the developer of Terraria, and their response to the Unity situation here. It was a bad play. Unity has shown their true colors. Ultimately, I think what this comes down to is that Unity is being run by a bunch of greedy business men that have no idea what it's like to actually be on the other end of this in the gaming industry. And they've kind of wrecked their company moving forward, ultimately. I think that there's not a whole lot of coming back and redeeming themselves from what they tried to do here, which is a lot of scummy monetization incorporations in their payment schemes and what they're trying to get out of developers and publishers and everything moving forward. So I think that I could go into great detail about what all of this is and what has transpired and everything, but I think the best thing you can do is look at those articles that I have on the YouTube channel there, and you'll get an idea of what's going on. Okay. But if anybody has anything else to add for the news segment, let me know. Shout out to Pinky for this. Shout out to Cappy for the article we just finished about the Dark and Darker stuff. Appreciate it, guys. Anybody else has anything to add, let me know, and I'll address it before we move on and watch the Tokyo Game Show Capcom stuff and then go play games after that, all right? Over 500 developers are protesting Unity by demonetizing their games. You've put hundreds of studios at risk, all without consultation or dialogue. Over 500 developers are protesting against Unity's new pricing plan through the demonetization of their own games in spite of the company's statement that changes would be coming. The letter to Unity, which has been signed by 553 developers at the time of writing, which pledges to switch off all Iron Source and Unity ads monetization until new conditions are reviewed. As such, no revenue from their games will be received by Unity until it is switched back on. While we've always viewed our work as a collaborative effort, this decision blindsided us. With one stroke of the pen, you've put hundreds of studios at risk, all without consultation or dialogue. Read the letter. Yep. Yeah, this was not a situation where they were trying to be like proactive and work with the developers and coming up with a something that would benefit both sides, or letting them know that it was time for them to from Unity's point of view, look at changing up some of the monetization, the way they were doing monetization for their consumers as being developers and stuff. They just did this and then tried to address all the back end issues that developers were bringing up. It was a really bad situation. Pricing plan, also known as the new runtime fee, was announced on September 12th. Unity's intention was to seek out the right value exchange, meaning ringing everybody for everything they could between both the developer and itself, as every time a Unity game is installed, it also installs the Unity runtime code. Yet this was seen to be an unnecessary clamp on the possible revenue that smaller studios could generate from their games. Unity countered by claiming that only 10% of their customers would be affected by the new pricing plan. This is because the runtime fee would only apply to those who had exceeded a specific number of installs and amount of revenue. However, law firm Wiggins suggested that Unity may have opened a legal can of worms with its announcement, sharing concern over the enforceability of Unity's changes. While software as a service companies are within their rights to update their terms, this doesn't always hold water in the United Kingdom. Under UK law, if clause in a service provider's standard terms of business permit to provide a contractual performance substantially different, from what is expected, the clause would only be enforceable if it passed a reasonableness test, said Wiggin. We expect that the significance of the shift and relatively little prior notice would likely be core grounds of contention. Great. That's good. The runtime fees were also argued to be anti-competitive due to the dominance of Unity in the development of mobile games and the industry more generally. In other gaming news, the leak that exposed almost 40 terabytes of internal Microsoft documents. Yeah, we've talked about that a little bit. So the CEO of Unity got a very good familiarity with controversy. Yeah, apparently so. I'm not all that familiar yet, but I'll probably try to inform myself on that. So there's a little bit of just extra news on that front. Again, I think if you take a look at those VODs we have on YouTube, you'll get a better idea of how we've addressed this entire situation from its inception. You know what I mean? Which was basically Pinky kind of hit me up with that on the evening of the 12th before I had seen it, and then we addressed it the very next time we did the video gaming news segment. So we've been addressing it, dude, ever since. I mean, it's a very hot topic right now, as it should be. Unity I think Unity's done. I really do. I don't think there's much they can do to fix their reputation now. That's a pretty bad move on their part, and I don't think they've got much chance of pulling themselves out of this. So, in response to the Unity situation from Relogic, which is the developer of the beloved game Terraria, the team at Relogic has been watching the recent events surrounding Unity with both interest and sadness. The loss of a formerly leading and user-friendly game engine to the darker forces that negatively impact so much of the gaming industry has left us dismayed, to put it mildly. While we do not personally use Unity outside of a few elements of our console mobile platforms, we feel like we cannot sit idly by as these predatory moves are made against studios everywhere. We unequivocally condemn and reject the recent terms of service / fee changes proposed by Unity and the underhanded way they were rolled out. The flippant manner with which years of trust cultivated by Unity were cast aside for yet another way to squeeze publishers, studios, and gamers is the saddest part. That this move was wholly unnecessary pushes things into the tragedy category, a cautionary tale the industry will not soon forget. We do not feel that a simple public statement is sufficient. Even if Unity were to recant their policies and statements, the destruction of trust is not so easily repaired. We strongly feel that it is now equally important to get behind some of the other up-and-coming open-source game engines, lighting some candles in an otherwise dark moment. Agreed. To that end, we are donating $100,000 to each of the open-source engines listed below. Additionally, we are sponsoring each of these projects with $1,000 a month each moving forward. All we ask in return is that they remain good people, keep doing all that they can to make these engines powerful and approachable for developers everywhere. the Godot game engine, and FNA. Relogic has always been supportive of game developers and indie studios that do things the right way. We feel that our actions in this moment are the best way to carry that mission forward by accelerating and strengthening competing open source game engines. We hope to empower and assist studios that are struggling with how to best proceed given these recent events. This is a very, very, very well written statement. And you love to see it. You know, this is, I know most and if not all of us that hang out here in this community, in this channel, this is something that hits home for a lot of us in the way we feel about this industry. And most of us are very, very passionate about this industry, and we talk a lot about the good and bad side of it, you know, the righteous and scummy side of it. We want to support those great companies, you know, and we want to lift those great companies up, while we want to point out the terrible ones and try everything we can to, you know, educate people on not supporting the terrible ones. And, you know, Unity has shown their true colors. And this is, I think, a lot of what was written here is just a better verbal expression of a lot of the same sentiments that, you know, I'm no wordsmith, man, but this is a lot of the same kind of sentiments that I've been expressing about this entire situation. You know, Unity this was a very, very poorly thought out thing for them. They did this out of greed to try and take advantage of as many people as possible, companies as possible. And it's, I think, as something that is going to destroy their company. It's going to, at the very least, forever taint their reputation, and as it should. It's absolutely terrible, you know. Love that. Love that, Pinky. Thanks, buddy. It's good stuff, dude. Great stuff. That's the news. Get some music popping off here. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's the news. Yeah, I agree. Cappy. Big one's going to be Unreal Engine 5. Unreal Engine is going to bring, they're going to be getting a huge influx of developers now. But hopefully we have some other really nice, smaller engines that start gaining some traction because of this. Like that tweet from Relogic was just talking about. I hope that that's what happens, because we need the competition. You know, Unity and Unreal Engine are the two biggest ones, really. And with Unity really going to be taking a huge hit here, you know, Unreal is going to be sitting up there at the top, and competition's needed. So, yeah, that's actually hilarious, Pinky. You guys rock, dude. Great news segment as always. I appreciate it. We've got much more to do today, as always. You know, this is just the beginning of what we do every day, but we're going to get prepared to go watch the Tokyo Game Show Capcom showcase from Tokyo Game Show, which is popping off here in about 20 minutes. And as soon as that ends, we're going to go play the First Descendant beta, crossplay beta, for the rest of the day, and that'll be the day 2 gameplay for us. So second day we've been able to enjoy the beta, so I'm really looking forward to it. But you guys rock, dude. I appreciate you. You guys are amazing. Just for helping to really flesh out all these ideas we go through in the news. But, you know, I enjoy that very much. But just for being the amazing people you are, helping to create such an awesome community and place for all of us to hang out all the time, man. It's an incredible thing, and I appreciate it very much. We're not done yet. We got plenty more to come. Like I said, we're going to go watch this Capcom showcase, and then we're going to play games after that. But if anybody is getting to check out this content for the first time, whether it's live or maybe later on as a VOD, all of our video gaming news segments that we start every single stream off with are always out there as VODs on the Twitch channel and the YouTube channel, along with all the playthroughs we've done and just the wild, crazy clips, highlights, funny, crazy stuff that happens here in the channel. There's tons of playlists out there on both the Twitch channel and the YouTube channel for all the content that we've done here in the community. And if you're go take a look. If you're enjoying it, come hang out with myself and the rest of the amazing people that are part of our community here when we do go live 6 days a week. Every day but Wednesdays, we go live at 6 a.m. CST, CDT, and always start with video gaming news and then work our way into playing games for the rest of the day. Always looking for more cool people to come be a part of what we do and enjoy the amazing world of video games, just like the rest of us, man. So other than that, everybody just stay healthy, stay safe, be kind, have a great rest of your Thursday if you're not moving forward with us. And I don't know, we'll be back tomorrow with September 22nd's edition of Video Gaming News. All right.